Amazon, baby.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show. I am here with JT Coin Rings. We apologize for this debacle that we recently had, this
Blaming on
fiasco.
blaming on the banks.
this fiasco we recently had with the sound or whatnot. We're gonna go ahead and kick the intro and we're gonna get into what we came to talk about today. All right.
Think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show where we think, act, and prosper. Here we focus on changing financial trajectories and building legacies. So you are here with Daryl, Dominic, and JT Coin Rings, who make some of the finest rings in the business. Be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button to both of our channels, by the way. And yeah, we appreciate you all for joining us. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Thank you for inviting me up to the 3,000 plus subscriber live stream. That's what I'm gonna call it. We're gonna claim 5,000 by the end of the month.
Man, that's a steep goal, but it's possible. Anything is possible. I've been putting out a lot of content. I'm hoping to get that one viral video to just exceed me out of the stratosphere. But you know, uh, ultimately, we'll just see what happens, right?
Right.
Keep
Never know.
working hard. I think about it as like, some people have to grind their way into the NBA. Some people get they are just the favorites that get picked, right? You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
So that's how I view it.
Yeah.
So we recently had some banks close down some coin dealer accounts. What's your thoughts on what's happening with that? I mean, obviously we haven't watched the video from the channel that
Mhm.
really blew up, which we're going to get into that video, but I wanted to get your take on banks closing down coin dealers accounts that are doing business in the legitimate fashion.
I'm trying to figure out what crime was committed. What did the corn shop owners do in order to get it closed? You know, what did they think? They was money laundering? What laws do the banks think they did in order to close it? Now we've heard all over the news for weeks and weeks that banks have been burning down. But what are you keeping away the person who brings in cash on a regular basis? What reason? And we all know that the bank doesn't have to give you a particular reason to close your account. Some people know that they sign that when they open their account. So I'm just trying to wonder through this whole fiasco. Why? What law is being broken?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask. And unfortunately, with banks being a private business, obviously they have friends with benefits with the Federal
Hmm.
Reserve, and they'll get bailed out by Congress and everything, right? But
Right.
but they're private, right? And I mean, ultimately they can make their choice, on whether to close someone or not, whether they have reason to or not. I mean, we
Hmm.
saw this happening. I mean, in the social media realm with many different platforms
Right.
closing people's accounts without even giving them any legitimate notice, or just giving them a blanket basic statement that oh, you violated the terms and conditions. Okay, well, what terms and conditions did I violate and how?
Hmm.
So yeah, so I mean, we definitely had some things like that, but this is very concerning for me because when banks see that, for banks to close down people, I mean, this has happened with, obviously we had what happened in Canada with the truckers, right?
That's right.
Um, people that were dealing in crypto or sending to support this movement, this protest or whatnot, and banks would just come in and the government would just come in and shut their accounts down. So
Hmm.
like that's like, to me, just ultimate, form of, like, not ultimate form, but that's a form of totalitarianism. And
Mm.
so especially if there's no legitimate reason as to why.
Right.
So we're gonna go ahead and I think we should just jump into the video
Okay.
and talk about It is Gold and Silver Stackers channel,
Okay.
and I believe his name is his Mike, I believe. And so we're gonna watch this video and kind of just see what he had to say. I'm glad that he's getting some support from the community because we definitely need to support each other. And so be sure to subscribe to his channel as well as ours. But yeah, this sucks, to not be able to do business when you've been doing business legit. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this video. So let me share screen. Boom. And we're gonna watch some of the video. We're not gonna watch all of it, but we're gonna watch some of the video, just get some of the key highlights of what's happening.
Really, really stressed out. Something very unnerving happened to me about 3 weeks ago. I'm still not sure why. But about 3 weeks ago, wife said I got some certified letters in the mail from my bank. And I'm thinking, what could those be about? Fortunately, she wasn't home. It was on a weekend. It came on a Saturday. She wasn't home to get them. So all weekend I had to stress out about it, see what the heck that's about. Literally never gotten a certified letter from my bank or any bank in my life. But I kind of figured I knew what it was. So Monday morning, I was at the post office to pick up the certified letters. And I have 6 accounts with a certain bank, a regional bank in Ohio. I'm not going to name the bank right now. But they decided they don't want to do business with me anymore. So I'll read some of the letter to you guys. And I've heard of this happening before. I just didn't believe that it would happen to me. So.
All right, really quick before we proceed, he said something very profound there. He said, I've heard this happen before. I just didn't think that it would happen to me.
Right.
So like oftentimes like we hear like, about central bank digital currencies or people getting banks shut down or accounts being shut down for whatever, but we don't ever think that it could happen to us. You know what I'm saying? Or we hear about like hyperinflation in other nations, or we hear about, banks collapsing in other nations. And we think like, it may not happen to us.
Right. Now think about this. Let's think about this exactly why he stated that. He heard it happen to other people. Say, for instance, we heard it happened to people who held crypto. Okay. But when you come down to a coin shop, it's certain records you have to keep. You have to account for everything that comes in that shop, in and out. You also have to make sure you follow money laundering laws. So in his defense, he probably state that, hey, I followed everything. I give everything the bank needs in order to say that I have a legit business. Why did this happen to me?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that just goes to show, like, regardless if you're following all the laws, all the regulations, people can still choose to, shut you down, So we're going to go ahead and get back to the video, but I just wanted to share that. I mean, he didn't think that it could happen to him,
Right.
Or he probably didn't anticipate that, it's very, very unfortunate. If you're watching, be sure to drop a comment.
Dear customer, we're writing about your account. After a recent review, we have decided to end our relationship with you and close your accounts referenced above. As stated in your account agreement, we can close your account at any time for any reason, with or without notice.
That sounds very cold, man.
Isn't it?
That sounds very cold. That was heartless. That wasn't like, like, hey, I feel like I'm connected to this bank. We have a relationship. We've done good business with each other. I enjoy the staff there. Like that shows like you're just another number, right?
Right.
You're just another account number.
We will begin our closing process on September 6, 2023. So they gave me basically a month. And in the letter, it says they're going to close even my credit cards I have.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nice of them? So basically, they're just closing all my accounts. They don't want to do business with me. They won't tell me why. I went to my local branch, who I have a good relationship with, talked to the manager. She tried to find out. They wouldn't tell her. So here I was left thinking, wow, what is going on? What do they think I could have done. I don't know what I did. I didn't do.
Yeah. So, he's seeking information and he's unable to get any information. That just sounds very unreasonable, very controlling and such. Like you don't want him to know the reason why. And that sucks whenever you're trying to get information as to why, so that you can defend yourself, but they won't even give you the information as to why they're closing your account.
It makes you think something sinister is going on. If you listen to this, what this man is saying, it's like closing his credit cards. You're taking the lifeline of his business, the ability for him to fund his business, not just the cash he may have left in the bank, which we all know banks use the fractional lending, all the benefits. But you're taking his lifeline. People use credit, not sometimes in a careless way, but also some ways in order to take care, to get inventory for their business, maybe to buy more coins, buy some more inventory so he can sell, because sometimes they have a large number. So this man just said they even taken away that lifeline. So this, like you said, is sinister, especially how they word, we can do this at any time without giving any notice. That's cold.
Yeah, that was cold hearted, man. That's like, yeah. We're gonna watch a little bit more, then we're gonna unpack it some more, as well as talk about the CBDCs, because this is definitely, I think it's definitely a preview to that. So let's go ahead and watch a little more.
Do anything. We follow all the rules here. Licensed by the state. I have an AML program. I'm very careful what I do. I know how regulated this business is, and it is very, very, very regulated. So I have to be very careful what I do. And I've been in business a long time. I know what to watch out for and avoid certain things or whatever. So I adhere to the law, and I've never had a problem, never. And it's very, very stressful when this happens. It's never happened to me in my life. I've never had my banks closed. And I had multiple accounts. Even my kids' account with them was closed, and my wife's account closed. And to me, this is just more confirmation to what's going on. I don't think the banks like this type of business. I don't know what they think we're doing here, because everything's 100% legitimate. But for some reason they don't like it, And
all right, so we're gonna. So why do you think the banks don't like this type of business?
That's a good question. Why do the banks like this type of business? Maybe because they deal with cash.
We got my guy Caesar on Facebook. He chimed in. He said, going to a cashless society, it's all about a credit score system. And so, Caesar, only thing I would just correct there is outside of credit score, it's called social score. So they use social score systems in countries like China
Right,
and such, where they monitor what what you say about the government, all these different things, right? And they can ultimately dock your social score, and you could be prevented from access to certain benefits or whatever. But yeah, definitely cashless society. I mean, I think cashless, it would be far out. I mean, but at the same time, we do see trends in that way, in that direction. I mean, even during the pandemic, we saw like the coin shortages. Like,
that's right.
Hey, how are we still having coin shortages?
Right.
Very many people are not used to using cash anymore. Coin dealers obviously use a lot of cash. They're definitely cash heavy in a lot of ways, and so that could be a reason why. But yeah, we definitely appreciate you chiming in on this.
Could we go down the rabbit hole 1 second? Just in a sense, Daryl, if you think about this, where are the shops? What do these shops do? They help people to take their fiat and exchange it for real money. Okay. Yep. So in order to take that ability, you must close down the current. You close down these shops, make it difficult for them to do business. You kind of stop that flow for a second until we find other things that we can do. But like you said, he followed all the rules that were given to him by the banks, by the government, in order to operate as a business. But these institutions are where people who stack, people who believe that they exchanging fiat for real money go.
Yep.
And we know what's coming up with Fed coins and all that stuff, and how the government want to count everything that we have by everything's being reported. And one sure way to do that is change banking as we see it. So this could be one of the steps.
Yeah, agreed. I think that which we're going to jump into the Senate bills regarding the CBDCs, because that's been like a really hot topic. Just cashless society, the Fed, and governments being able to have absolute control to be able to shut your counts down at any time.
Wow.
With the press of a button, like George Gammon referred to it as a light switch. They can just flip the switch and cut off your access to, cash, or your access to your accounts to be able to pay your bills, feed your family, shop at the grocery store, all those things, right? You know what I'm saying? So and there's a guy in the UK. He was a politician. His name's Nigel. I forgot his last name, but I was watching some of his videos, but the banks came in and shut his accounts down.
Oh, wow.
And so and he's been exposing them and everything. And so it's definitely something that's very alarming. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the Senate bill.
Okay.
It's important that we understand, what is our government doing, in terms of regulating this type of stuff, and are they ultimately trying to enter some ultimate control? I mean, I'm glad that in our society in the United States we have checks and balances with politicians and such. And so but this was the first bill that was passed in 2020. This was pretty alarming, right? So this is the Senate Bill 3571 to require member banks to maintain pass-through digital dollar wallets for certain persons and for other purposes. Mr. Brown introduced the bill, blah, blah, blah. It says, cited as the Banking for All Act. These are definitions for digital dollars and everything. So this is talking about the dollars, means dollar balances consisting of digital ledger entries recorded as liabilities. All right. So it says, in general, member banks shall open and maintain pass-through digital dollar wallets for all persons, including persons eligible to receive payment from the United States pursuant to federal law relating to the coronavirus disease, who elect to deposit funds in pass-through digital dollar wallets. So that was one piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one actually looks like it was amended, which I have a video on my channel that I did a while ago that has the original one, because I don't remember it being specific towards COVID. I don't know if you remember when I did that video like a long time ago when I went through the Senate bill. It's still on my channel, but I don't remember it saying COVID. So this may be amended.
Okay.
And so pretty much it says all persons wanting to have an account has to have an account with the Fed. And so that was pretty Graham, what do you think about that? The Fed us having an account with the Fed.
What are the benefits to us to go that route? What is the benefit to the Feds? Like I mentioned before, them having accessibility to everything that comes in, do our work, money, they can track it. They say that it would make them a more efficient government. I think I heard talks of making income tax filing easier, because they can just send you information. So many people talk about the benefit to the government, but for us that we are used to holding cash, doing things under the table, I think it's just another way for the federal government to just keep a watchful eye on everything that comes into our hands.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Daryl?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, because if you buy something that they don't like, or if you do something they don't like, they could just shut you down, and really impact your livelihood um, in a heartless way. And so, here it says the mandate in general, all Federal Reserve banks shall not later than January 1, 2021, make digital wallets available to all residents and citizens of the United States and to businesses domiciled in the United States. So digital wallets made available to all residents and citizens of the United States. So it doesn't say that we have to have it, but it says they have to make digital wallets available. And this is, like, to be honest, like this looks a lot different than what I read like a couple years ago, 3 years ago. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video that I put up, because the verbiage on here is a
Change
lot.
a little bit. When you do that, put that video in the description so we can see the kind of comparisons of what you say it then compared to now.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe they amended it. However, we do have another bill here that this is the Senate No CBDC Act, which is this was introduced this year. And it says to amend the Federal Reserve Act to limit the ability of Federal Reserve banks to issue a CBDC. All right. So Ted Cruz and Mr. Lee, Mr. Braun introduced the following bill, and may be cited as the No Central Bank Digital Currency Act. Let's see what it says. Dun-dun-dun. It says no Federal Reserve Bank, the board or secretary of the Treasury, or any other agency or any entity directed on to act on behalf of the Federal Reserve Bank, the board, the secretary, or other agency may mint or issue a CBDC directly to an individual, including central bank digital currency issued to an individual through a custodial intermediary or a digital currency intermediary. Offer related products or services directly to an individual, or maintain an account on behalf of an individual, including an account in a specially designated account at a digital currency intermediary or supervised commercial bank. I think what he's talking about intermediaries is the banking system.
Okay.
Because the banking system is pretty much between us and the Fed.
Okay.
No Federal Reserve Bank may hold digital currencies minted or issued by the United States government as assets or liabilities on the balance sheet of a bank, or use such digital currencies as part of fulfilling the requirements under Section 2A.
Oh, can you read that part again? Because it says something about, you said they can't have any coins or...
Yeah, so it says that no Federal Reserve Bank may hold digital currencies minted or issued by the United States government, or assets or liabilities on the balance sheet of the bank, or use such digital currencies as part of fulfilling the requirements under Section 2A.
Okay, digital currencies. Okay.
Yeah. So, I kind of want to dig into this more at some point, but, I think that, like we see that this is kind of the checks and balances. I mean, on the first one you had, we had, which I remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, man, because I remember vividly seeing the different language on my video when I was reading through the Senate bill, and I was going through it before I posted it, and so I got to go back and find that, because it seems like they did hear a lot of pushback from the people, so maybe that was why they maybe changed that language.
I just wonder what is it? We see this attack on the coin shop owners. When you talk about the transaction, when we go in and we give our cash, we receive our metals. They take note of what has been received. They give that to the bank. Do the bank now want who they sold it to? So our transaction could be also accounted for. Something is missing. Something that's not being told, which I don't understand that dynamics. But hopefully somebody in the chat or watching the replay could leave a comment based off how does that work? Why do they think that they are being targeted? Because we kind of leave scot free unless we tell people to be sold out precious metals or lost it in the boating accident. Nobody knows exactly who has what. Why are they being attacked?
Yeah, that's nobody knows who has what, for sure.
uh,
Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting, because I mean, like, gold and precious metals is a bearer asset, which means that a bearer asset is assets that people may not know about. So, say like you were to go to court and you were in a lawsuit or something, someone was suing you, and the judge has access to your financial information. So, for example, your assets like your house, um, your uh, your bank account information, your job, how much you make
mhm,
at your job, all those different things, right? But a bearer asset is assets that the judge may not know about.
right.
So that's why many people, advocate for gold or silver, Bitcoin, and and other assets where no one knows where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a good point when you said like who knows who has what, right? And
Right.
so and that's an important piece for financial freedom as well,
Hmm.
because I mean, if you even hold cash, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, obviously you need cash for something at some point, even though that cash is losing value due to inflation. You have that cash available, and who can say you have it or don't have it,
That's right.
you know?
That's the benefit of building your own bank at home. But I guess we can talk about that another time.
Yeah. I mean, that's very. I mean, it's super important.
Hmm.
However, there's risk with that. There's risk with everything, right?
Yes.
You have risk.
Security,
Yeah,
insurance, everything. Yeah.
security. I mean, like, home fires, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could burglarize your home, and you could lose all your stuff, right? So there's risk with that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important to be diversified. So, what do you think is next? For coin shops, if this is going to increase in nature, where banks are closing down their shops.
Well, these are big banks. I hear that a lot. You hear Chase, you hear Bank of America. So they are going to smaller banks now. I know that we're going to have to find friendly banks that believe in precious metals, that believe in, you know, um, understanding the importance of people keeping their money anonymous.
Hmm.
Okay, so big banks don't understand that. Big banks understand credit. Big banks believe in using what we have and us taking out money for debts. So it's good to start the business. It's good to have the real estate, but it's not good to give people financial freedom and have them working out the system, the financial system. Um, so they had to go to institutions that at least believe in that, believe in not just the businesses but customers putting their money in precious metals, and their banks on the rise. They're doing just that. So we can see what happens in the near future.
Yeah, agreed. So, and I think this is like a good plug, for I mean, we've had Rick Rule come on all the time and talk about
Hmm.
Battle Bank, so Battle Bank, is one of those solutions where you can own precious metals in your bank account. They understand the precious metals market, and they're not going to shut you down if you're doing business with, uh, in the coin space, the
Right,
precious
right.
metal space, and so, we got to have banks that we trust again, like, and obviously so he mentioned that he was at a regional bank. So he didn't say he was at a big commercial bank, but he was at
Hmm.
probably a local bank down there, that shut him down. So, well, I definitely, hope the guy, uh, success in the future,
Hmm.
wish him success in the future, and hope that, um, he could find a bank that's going to treat him right. He could take his business somewhere where, um, Are they going to treat them right?
Mhm.
Shout out to my guy Max. He's in the comments. What's going on, man? How you doing?
How you feeling? Thanks for coming in. Hit that like button.
Yes, sir. Hit the like. You know, I think you already subscribed. Check out my guy JT Coin Rings. He puts the precious metals into these beautiful pieces you can wear on your finger.
That's right. That's what I do.
So but you know, I think that I wish the guy, you know, success, and I hope that, you know, he can find somewhere where they're going to treat him right.
Right.
I mean, that would be just kind of, I mean, they close his kids' accounts and his wife's account down.
This is what I'm hearing. I've heard this video and another video I just watched today, and they talked about they closed family members, anybody associated with this person. So this runs deep, you know. And these accounts, this woman stated who owned this coin shop, her husband opened up their children's and also an older child, which is in her 30s, account. Her name wasn't even on it. So when they look at closing the coin shop, I guess they also say, okay, we want to make sure that this person doesn't transfer funds or responsibilities to a family member. For them to close down everybody in that bloodline, this is serious. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how what's going to pan out from this.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of transition a little bit. I mean, we got a little bit of time. So what are you doing right now with precious metals? You know, how are you preserving your purchasing power, and how are you you know, building your financial freedom, you know, in this space?
The biggest thing for me, being a 9 to 5 worker, I take my money, my fiat, and I put it into precious metals. I recently had a video a couple months ago showing how I sold majority muscle for precious metals, but it was on the time of taking care of some things, and I'm glad I had it in order to do so. But in the business of starting over and starting slowly, I'm buying certain pieces here and there. Constitutional silver, because it's pretty cheap, right? So I buy my constitutional silver, and I also buy enough of the silver to market to my clients by creating coin rings. And we know that silver and gold coins are not investments. We don't call them that. We call them more of an insurance that we put our fiat in. So what I've been doing is taking a couple of those coins, and I've been marketing to that community that likes to buy my rings, like a novelty, right?
Mhm.
Coin rings and coin jewelry. So I take that coin and I produce a certain profit, maybe 30 to 40% from what I bought that coin for, and I make it to wearable jewelry. So I've been doing it pretty slow, putting my money into silver, constitution silver. If I have $100, I'll buy $100 worth of dimes, quarters, maybe buy me some Morgans, and that's what I do for that month in order to build up. Also do my everyday investments, you know, that comes with my employment. So that's what I'm doing right now, and building up my emergency fund. Hopefully I can get to 3 months before the year's out.
Yeah, that's good. I'm doing the same. You know, I'm averaging in the metals. Obviously, I mean, I sold a lot of metals. I had a lot of numismatic collectors coins, you know, and everything. And I had to get rid of a lot of that stuff. So now I'm back to the basics, you know, silver eagles, Krugerrands, constitutional, and just, you know, buying, you know, like that stuff with a higher premium. It's just so. I mean, it's sometimes it could be illiquid, you know, like where people won't pay you the same amount that you paid for it. So like oftentimes you take losses, or unless the coin hits, and you got to be able to sell at the right time and all the stuff. So I got rid of a lot of my numismatic coins. I mean, I had a lot, a whole lot. JT, remember I was buying so much
every week.
I could not stop, you know. So I had
you had some nice pieces. Let's say you had some nice pieces. Definitely a couple pieces that I would like in my collection. Definitely.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I kept a few of them, but you know, it's definitely something that I had to get, a habit I had to kick, you know. And so
for new stackers, tell them, I mean, explain to them your numismatic love of certain collector pieces, and why you would probably tell them not to start off doing it?
Yeah, I wouldn't start off doing it because I got introduced to the numismatic space by joining some Facebook groups, and it was a friend of mine that plugged me with a Facebook group. I went to his house. He showed me just his stash. He had a bunch of them. Like it was just so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, man, this is a cool coin. Oh man, I like that. I like this,
Right.
everything. And then so I got into these groups and I just started buying, and I'm buying, 1 ounce for, 80, $90, $100,
Mm-hmm.
and it got some cool art on it. It may be like a Scrooge McDuck or, a Street Fighter coin, whatever it may be. And a lot of times what really draws me to the coins is things from my childhood. Like, oh, I used to play that video game, or, oh, I used to watch that cartoon,
Right.
things like that. But like oftentimes, like when you connect with people that are also in the metal space, they're not going to pay that premium just because you paid it. You know what I'm saying? And so like for me, it was like, okay, even if you have a economic collapse or something where you have to barter, silver and gold, whatever, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if someone see an ounce of silver, they're going to treat it as an ounce of silver. They're not going to be in that type of situation. They're not going to give you extra for the artwork on the coin,
Right.
And so like, I think that it's cool to have some numismatic coins, like if they really mean something to you, you can stack them as a collector's thing, but I would not be stacking them on a daily basis, like how weekly basis, like I used to. Also, I think that, that outside of that, it's hard to resell at times. I had to pay a lot of fees on eBay from using eBay to sell some of these coins. Some of them I couldn't get rid of at all. Like it was just a nightmare. And so,
Right.
so I'm glad I got off from under that trap though. And I think it's important that I note that I did meet International Coin Alliance at the Rule Symposium. They were there, and pretty much, I mean, they had they had collectors coins and things of that nature, and those coins, they said you have to buy. You can't just buy what you like. You have to buy what other people like.
Right.
And so
I think you should have a nice mix. You should have like, okay, this is what I like. This is what I'm going to keep forever. This is my love of the hobby. But
mhm.
then reality sets in. You have to have that silver, as our friend used to say, build up that line of defense. That this silver is for preservation for the future, but we're not spending that much on the premiums.
Yep.
But we're gonna trust the intrinsic value of this metal, and we're not gonna look at the Al Capone or maybe the other gangsters that were on this premium silver we have over here that we may just like because we love the movies, we love the childhood memories. But
Mhm.
I've learned to limit that and now focus more on that metal that's gonna give us exactly what we need in the near future or the further future, or something we can pass down to our children without that high premium. Because I've learned, just as you, that high premium silver you lose sometimes if you don't find that collector. But when you just try and get rid of it, you get fair value, but you don't get exactly what you put into it all the time. So
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yep,
mm-hmm.
that is true. And at some point, for me, like I started working with some apps. When Battle Bank opens, I'm gonna start doing precious metals through them. But I started using One Gold a little bit. This is through AppMex, and they have it where they partner. I think they partner with One Gold, and they have it to where you can store cash in a vault. So you not cash, but you buy, say like you buy silver, you put in, $30 or whatever for a silver, ounce, you get, the spot price plus whatever else for that. And then when the price goes up, you're able to sell it and convert it into metals, convert that into metals. So that's another way that I've been kind of playing the diversification game, because like you don't want to have, like, I had at one point 40 grand in metals in the safe,
Mm.
like at some point, like if you're trying to move heavy bars, kilo bars, and all of this stuff, like it's a headache, you know. So so you want to be able to diversify, you know, where your assets are as well. And so that's kind of like the next level I'm at now.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have all of this stuff. And then, you know, I'm buying stuff like the Sprott products, the Sprott physical gold trust or physical silver trust and such. And so like that's a way you get tax benefits as well as you know, you don't have to store huge amounts of metals, and you get access to the price of the physical metal as well. So
Okay.
there's some ways that you can kind of diversify and not have, you know, loads and loads of freaking gold and silver in your home.
Right.
You
Safety.
Yep. I mean, 'cause I lost some. Remember, I was telling you about.
Yeah, you still looking for it, I heard. Right?
I'm still looking.
I wish you lost it at Baltimore at that Starbucks. I would have picked it up and I would have held it.
Yeah, I still cannot find it. I have it in my gold app. Like, okay, I bought this, I bought that. I should have this somewhere, and I cannot find those coins anywhere. And I didn't sell them. I didn't start selling until like late last year. And so I can't find those coins anywhere. So that's like also another con. I mean, we had that recent article where the guy who buried a lot of World War II gold in his yard, and someone I think it's Civil War gold or something like that. But he buried it in his yard, and someone else today dug it up. And I don't even think the person that dug it up was even related to him or whatnot.
Oh, that hurts.
Like,
that hurts.
You know, at least, you know, if it's in your vault or something like that, you could put a beneficiary or something, you know. So like, there's ways to kind of mitigate risk. There's always pros and cons to everything. So my guy Max says, I got so much metal. LOL. Man, you got to diversify, man. Hey, diversify, man. You can't be sleeping with a kilo bar next to you on your pillow, Max, man.
It's cold at night.
So yep. Well, yeah, JT, man, I got to get going and everything. I hope that all of y'all in the audience are doing good. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And shout out to the coin shop guy. You know, I appreciate him exposing this information, the risks of the banking system and such. And you know, I definitely wish him the best going forward. You know, because that's got to be disheartening, you know, to just have that happen to you. So
that's tough, you know. See what happens.
All right, JT, take care.
Take care, people.